Today, we've got Galactus, the Devourer of Worlds, taking on the Green Lantern Corps. Who wins? Well, let's find out. Galactus is the famed Devourer of Worlds in the Marvel Universe, with his powers being nearly omnipotent. He uses energy from the core of planets and universal sources to sustain himself, and has appointed a number of entities as his heralds, imbuing them with the power cosmic. Like his heralds, Galactus gains his virtually limitless power by the power cosmic. For starters, he's able to manipulate creation, matter, energy, and universal sources. Galactus can erect nearly impenetrable force fields, project devastating energy blasts capable of blowing up planets and splitting them apart, and shoot lasers or give off radiation. He can open wormholes or portals to other dimensions or times, and can transport beings across the universe, or even across time. Galactus can read minds across the universe, levitate and move matter via telekinesis, and even reconstruct matter or transmute it. He can turn matter into energy, or vice versa, energy into matter, can manipulate elements on the periodic table, manipulate souls and erase memories, repair or heal living tissue, and even resurrect the dead. Now, what's interesting is that the true form of Galactus is really unknown. Instead, he is perceived as the species of whoever is looking at them. So to a human, he appears human, but to an alien, he appears as an alien. Now, even with all this, Galactus is not entirely omnipotent. He possesses an insatiable hunger for the energy from planets, and this hunger is the greatest motivating force in his life. The energy not only powers Galactus, but also nourishes him. This means that Galactus can starve, and in fact die, if he doesn't consume enough planets. If this were to happen, it's stated that he would explode, and take 100 light-year section of the galaxy with him. Then, the other one of the Green Lantern Corps. The Green Lantern Corps is an intergalactic police force, dedicated to the promotion of order and democracy throughout the universe. Each Green Lantern member protects a sector, and it is their duty to defend it from any possible threat. After the Guardians of the Universe' colossal failure with the Manhunters, they instead created rings that would seek out those with immense willpower to serve as members of the Corps. These green power rings are easily one of the most powerful weapons in the universe. And really, no hard set upper limit has ever been found for the ring. It's able to create green hard light constructs, and the size, complexity, and strength of these constructs is limited only by the ring bearer's willpower. Basically, whatever the wearer imagines, the ring will create. Essentially, the ring is a source of limitless power, and besides constructs, it's been able to fire energy beams, manipulate radiation and electromagnetism, create shields that protects the wielder from all forms of harm and in every environment, allow them to fly, and they can even create wormholes to travel between planets in a short amount of time. The Green Lantern Corps is a massive peacekeeping force in the universe, and has some notable members like Hal Jordan, John Stewart, Guy Gardner, and Kyle Rayner, all of who can handle themselves against the most powerful members of the Justice League. But then there's also Kilowog, the drill instructor for the Corps, Sodom Yat, who's a Daxamite, and later inherits the powers of Ion, and even Mogo, the planet Green Lantern, who is brought out only in the most dire of situations, like when the Sinestro Corps attacked. And when the Green Lantern Corps all fight together, they've pushed back stars, destroyed a Black Lantern planet, held off and imprisoned the Sinestro Corps, and even made a shield capable of containing a galaxy-busting explosion. Just a small group of them were able to fight off the High Masters, and a single High Master can destroy a planet. The Green Lantern Corps even fought back against the Guardians of the Universe when they were possessed by other entities on the emotional spectrum. Then, while the Guardians of the Universe founders of the Green Lantern Corps dislike getting into fights, they will fight if they have to. And these guys are so powerful that they beat the burning Martians, stopped a barrage of quantum singularities, and even beat the Anti-Monitor. So who wins? Well, let's break it down. Now, I love this fight. Just absolutely love it. Because the Green Lanterns were founded for the sole purpose of promoting order and defending the universe from any threat. Well, Galactus is like the universal threat. So can the Green Lantern Corps take the Devourer of Worlds down? Well, I suppose that kind of depends on if the Green Lanterns know that Galactus is coming to consume Oa. Because on one hand, if they don't, and are unprepared for the fight, well, that'll be a real different fight than if they're able to summon Mogo, get Ion in the fight, maybe even the Guardians of the Universe get involved. So let's look at the first scenario, where it's just a normal day on Oa, just an average day for the Green Lanterns, and then Galactus comes in to consume the planet. Well, I don't think the Guardians have much of a chance to stop him in this scenario. I mean, regardless of how powerful the constructs they create, it's just gonna pale to the might of Galactus. Like a mosquito bite or a little prick. Because Galactus is insanely durable. Like, just look at some of the things the big guy has endured. He's casually survived the moon colliding into him, stood out in a storm that would have killed many heroes in minutes, casually survived attacks from a legion of heroes, and the Ultimates couldn't do anything to put him down. He gets blasted back by Thanos, and it only makes him angry, and a full-on headbutt from Odin only momentarily hurt him. He also casually sat inside of an exploding star, easily survived entering the core of a galaxy, and if Galactus entered a black hole, well, he would just accidentally destroy it. Now, you can't tell me that the Green Lantern Corps, regardless of how powerful they might be, have shown that they are consistently able to put out a higher damage output than a supernova or being inside a galaxy core. And then while the Green Lantern Corps can't damage Galactus, the big guy has shown that he's more than capable of damaging them. Really, just straight up annihilating them, swatting them away as if they're nothing more than a pesky fly. I mean, let's just look at one of Galactus' powers, his energy projection. He's created Blast powerful enough to defeat Thanos even with his shields up. He one-shotted a Celestial, stalemated the In-Betweener, can supposedly destroy galaxies and universes, and just one blast had enough power to cover 3 star systems. That's more than enough power to easily shatter a Green Lantern's shield, even a high-tier Lantern like Hal Jordan or Kyle Rayner. And that's just one of Galactus' powers. He could just as easily avoid the fight altogether and absorb the Green Lantern's energy in their power rings. Because all the rings store a finite amount of energy, not to be recharged on a regular basis. Without the rings, well, the guys are pretty much useless. And Galactus has casually absorbed Human Torch's flames, Silver Surfer's blasts, and Ultron's energies. But on top of that, he stopped the gravitational pull of a black hole, and 2 suns actually went out just by being near him. I think that is more than enough power to deplete a Green Lantern's ring, even if we're talking about hundreds or thousands of rings all at once. So basically, if Galactus just came across Oa one day and caught the Green Lantern Corps by surprise, well, there's nothing that the Corps can do to stop him from devouring Oa. There just isn't. The big guy is just a bit too much for them to handle. Well, not a bit. Actually, way too much for them to handle. However, that was just the first scenario. Let's take a look at the second scenario. What if the Green Lantern Corps knew that Galactus was coming? Knew that he was going to try and devour Oa in order to quench his hunger. And so they pulled out all the stops in order to defeat him. I'm talking Mogo, Ion, and even the Guardians. Everything to stop the Devourer of Worlds from getting to Oa. What happens then? Well, let's first take a look at Mogo. Now, it's pretty common knowledge that Galactus regularly goes around eating planets. But what happens if the planet fights back? Well, Mogo has used his energy ring to destroy large portions of the Black Lantern Corps and Sinestro Corps. But he doesn't have too many feats, and he's never really gone up against someone as powerful as Galactus. Basically, the way I see it, Mogo would put up a fight, and he's definitely more of a threat than a regular Green Lantern. However, the problem is that he still functions like a regular Lantern, meaning that Galactus can still simply drain his energy ring to win. On top of that, he could hit him with a blast capable of destroying a galaxy, or even just begin to eat Mogo and increase in power while Mogo decreases. Mogo alone isn't going to be enough for the Green Lantern Corps to win. So what about the Guardians? Well, that makes the fight significantly more difficult for Galactus. I mean, Kyle Rayner once said that Ganthet, just one of the Guardians, had enough power to crack a planet in half with a thought. That's some serious power. But the Guardians have also had some showings that don't only put them on par with Galactus. Like one Guardian had to kill himself to destroy Superboy Prime, while Galactus would swat Prime away like he was nothing. Then the Guardians also fought a weakened Anti-Monitor. They themselves admitted he was weakened, and they couldn't even put the big guy down. Hal Jordan alone even blew a hole in Krona, who was a villainous Guardian of the Universe. On the other hand, Galactus stalemated or beaten Phoenix, the In-Betweener, Mephisto, Odin, Celestials, Tyrant, Sphinx, and has been said to be equal in stature to Death. And then there's also the problem with the Guardians' inability to do anything. Basically what I mean is that, realistically, by the time they finally choose to attack, Galactus would likely have killed off most of the Corps, maybe even drained some of the central power battery. That's what happened in Sinestro Corps War. It took literally forever for the Guardians to actually act. And then there's Ion, their last shot at claiming victory. Well, to be honest, it really depends on who is possessing the Ion entity. If it's Sodom Yet, he gets trashed. The guy could hold his own in a fight against Superboy Prime, but we've already established Superboy Prime and Galactus are on two completely different levels. But what if Kyle Rayner becomes Ion again? Well, as Ion, Kyle essentially became a god, able to exist and fight everywhere at once, laterally move through time, and warp and manipulate reality at will. Basically, the guy is so powerful that he makes all other heroes on Earth essentially irrelevant. So if we're talking Green Lantern Corps, including Mogo, Guardians of the Universe, and Kyle Rayner as Ion, yeah, I'm backing the Green Lantern Corps in that fight. However, that is an insane amount of coincidence that has to fall into place in order to defeat Galactus. And for that reason, for the most part, I would say that Galactus wins this fight. Which is kind of funny, because when I started doing research, I was actually backing the Green Lantern Corps. I had forgotten just how powerful Galactus truly was, and he's winning this one. But what do y'all think? I would love to hear your thoughts, so sign off in the comments down below. Also, be sure to subscribe button for more videos, just one every single weekday, and I'll see you next time.